Okay, so you're gonna go first, right?
We agreed you'd go first.
Hold up, since when?
Since 5 minutes ago. Go on, they're waiting for you.
Wait, what? Why, hello there! Hi. Hi, Migo. I'm a 2D artist and a coder. And since like 5 months ago, I've been working on my very own card game with the help of my coworker, Bardeus.
Yeah, I also code a little bit, and I make music. Man, fuck.
Anyways, let's see how I came up with this bright idea. You know, I had a dream last night.
Oh no, not again, man.
We were playing some sort of card game, right? But it was also like poker?
Dude, that's literally Balatro.
No, it isn't, it's totally different.
Sure. Why would it be?
Because we were regulating the turns by drinking alcohol.
Huh?
Yeah, there was like this mega pint
A mega pint.
of beer and we drank to pass the turns and stuff.
What do you do before going to sleep, man?
And so I thought, what if we made a card game where the cards in the game cost actual beer you have to drink?
Sure, I guess.
And you're gonna help me code it.
Wait, no!
Too bad, you don't get to have free will. Let's get started, shall we?
God damn.
Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The initial idea was to make a TCG game, which, let's be real,
It's very hard to do something totally original while also making it simple, balanced and fun.
especially for two people who never really got into TCG card games all that much. So, we took inspiration from a style of game we really enjoyed, Inscription, specifically the PO3 part. The concept was simple. You start with an hand of cards and one level of beer in your pint. Each turn, the beer level increases, allowing you to play stronger and stronger cards. The goal? Reduce your opponent's HP to 0. But just that would be boring, and so we had an idea. But how could we make this more interesting? I mean, we still need to make it more unique and casino-like. Any ideas?
What if we used casino chips for the player's HP?
What? You mean our HP is just how much money we're willing to bet?
Yeah, dude. It seems different, you know?
That has got to be the single greatest idea I've ever heard.
Yeah, I knew you'd like it.
And so, with this revelation in mind, we made it so that our HP is just how much money we're willing to bet on the match. Now we needed to figure out the rest of the fundamentals, and how to make a video game around this card game. We decided on a simple 4-column system, limiting draws to 1 card per turn. We also added a way to remove cards from the user field, a poker chip rake. Now all we needed was a story. So, we need to talk about gambling.
I'm all ears.
Our protagonist needs to be someone who's in debt with the mob. His goal is to make enough money to repay the loan sharks.
What did he do?
Gambling.
Ah,
So he goes into this bar, right?
yeah?
Where he gets introduced by the bartender to the fantastic world of Beer Bros. So the idea is this: you play as this guy. Let's call him Jimbo. Let's call him Jimbo. Jimbo is a man in debt to the mob, who has 15 days to pay them back. Or else... Each day he alternates between his lovely house, where he manages his resources, and the pub, where he collects and unlocks new cards. You can find them around the bar by completing quests, discovering secrets, or borrowing them. He has limited time to challenge his opponents. The bar is open from 10 PM to 4 AM. From 10 PM to 12 PM, you'll have a low traffic of people that constantly increases until 12 PM to 2 AM, where you have a rush hour of people who, go around the bars, drink, and get ready for their wild nights and stuff. Yeah, I guess. I'm not really an outing type. From 2 AM to 4 AM, the high number of people will start to dwindle, until it reaches 4 AM and you have to leave the pub for good. But you must be careful with the alcohol, or else... I don't wanna. If you drink too much, you will have to run to the toilet. And while you're gone, people might steal your cards. Then again, you can do the same to them. Over multiple playthroughs, you unlock new cards, new endings, and face stronger and stronger opponents. Some with special cards that you normally wouldn't be able to get. Will you pay off your debts, or will you drown in beer and bad decisions? Now, for this video, we're gonna go through the actual card game part of the game, so we can test out the main feature and get feedback from you guys. Yeah, you, right there. What? Why are you running? You can't run. You have to play the... Jokes aside, Your feedback is very important for us to improve the game. The download link is in the description, so feel free to download it, play it, and then leave us a feedback in the comments.
Let's begin by making a playing field, and let's add 4 slots to put your cards and 4 for the enemy. Now we're gonna need to add a deck that we can draw cards from. And finally, a way to see your amount of beer. Done. Right? Right? Of course not. We're gonna need an AI for the enemy. But how do we make it work?
How about you just make it go at random?
What? No! Are you stupid or something? That's the worst idea I've ever heard. However, we could implement difficulty levels, and that could be the baseline, or level 0. Then level 1 is basic defense, where if it sees a card that deals damage, it puts one in front to defend. Level 2 does the same, but prioritizes higher attack cards. Level 3 checks if a card in hand can be placed to kill the card in front of it in one turn. Level 4 tries to place 2 cards. Level 5 checks if a useless card, so one that doesn't have attack or abilities, is placed in front of another passive card, it gets replaced with an attacking card. Level 6, if the enemy has taken more than 15% of its initial health and damage, it targets utility cards. But we'll get to those later. Level 7, if the enemy has to play a passive card, so one that doesn't attack, it tries to place utility cards first. Level 8, if it has a card in hand that costs more than 6, it tries to place a utility card in a safe slot, so where a card in front of it has no attack. Level 9 tries to place 3 cards, and level 10 plays the most expensive card it can afford. What else? Oh yeah, you're gonna need a way to make your own deck, so we added a menu to choose your cards from. You'll be limited in your deck building by size and cost, so you'll have to at least think a little bit before putting together a deck. Of course, if you're too lazy, you can just use one of the samples that we built. Some of them are meant to be good, some are meant to be funny, so we hope you'll find something of your liking. However, if you don't like any of them, you can put your money in the hands of RNGesus and make the game pick one at random for you. All the cards are organized by categories, so the deck will always be at least somewhat useful. That's a great structure, although, with this being a gambling game, there's not really much gambling.
That's true. Honestly, I don't really like RNG in strategy games, but I guess this is supposed to be a gambling game, so we have to find something.
Like, what?
Wait!
I have an idea!
The reason we limited the cost as well is because of the alcohol poisoning system. The idea was to put the player on the back foot during the night, increasing the feeling of randomness to help the game feel like gambling while still keeping an important part of strategy. Making him choose carefully how he wants to play, by getting the maximum results with the least amount of beer spent. It works by adding the cost of any played card to a meter. If this meter reaches 100, you lose because of alcohol poisoning. In the final game, this will make you go puke in the bathroom, ending the night early and risking losing some of your cards. Right now, it just makes you lose the match, but it's still a threat to take into consideration. The more the poisoning bar rises, the higher the chance of it filling up even faster. At 50% capacity, you'll have a 30% chance of getting double the poisoning from the card you played. Once you reach 80% of the meter, this chance increases to 60%, making it very risky to play cards in this stage. Now I hear you guys. Oh my god, Ego, this is the best piece of fictional media ever conceived by humankind. Please, can you teach me how to be so smart, subversive and sensual? And to that I say, I know darling, I know. However, we said the game needs to feel like gambling, and so we thought of another way to increase the RNG, the rule chips. The rule chip is the chip you see here in the middle of the board. It changes every 5 turns to a random one, and each of them gives the game a different temporary rule. Right now we have 5 that will cycle at random during your fights. In the future, the player will be able to choose 3 chips to bring into the match, while the opponent also chooses 3 of them. And during the fight, this pool of 6 will alternate to influence the battle. These are the chips we already made. Beer Excess gives both players 1 more beer. Tangle Strikes makes the cards attack in cross positions. Disco, every turn, 2 cards will swap places between each other, or move at random on the board. Fight Back, striker cards get +1 bonus to their attack. And finally Stonks, that makes colorless card cost 2 less beer. The final game will have more of these, all with the purpose of either helping you or hindering you, increasing the feeling of randomness. So, now that the game is ready, it's time to talk about the cards, shall we? I'm not really a fan of the first generation of Pokemon games, but I really like the detail they had back in the day to differentiate the Pokemon even more, that got lost in time, that being the style of combat of their typings. Fire and Fighting used to be strictly damage dealers, with no status move to speak of, while Poison and Ghost type were meant to be annoyers, with very low power attacks and lots of status moves. Now, these games implemented that feature in a less than stellar way, but they're 30 years old, so we'll give them a pass. What I tried to achieve with this system is something similar, but hopefully realized a little bit better. So we made 4 categories of cards: colorless, strikers, magicals and worms. Colorless cards are standard cards, very straightforward for either damage or support, and they are supposed to be in every deck, thanks to their utility and versatility. Striker cards focus on brawling against other cards, or striking the enemy without concern of opponent's cards in the way. They are meant to beat down the opponent's deck and defenses, leaving him exposed. Magical cards focus on bending the rules in weird ways. They either attack in all sorts of directions, or they focus on niche buffs to increase their viability. Worm cards are the strongest and more expensive cards. They are very threatening, and if left unchecked can easily run away with the game. But they are difficult to place down without some sort of support, so you'll have to take that into account when putting them in a deck. Of course, these are just rules of thumb, and not every card fits in this archetype, but they give a sense of direction for the cards we put in the game. Finally, we have the boss cards. Boss cards are peculiar in the way that their cost doesn't really match their stats. They're a lot cheaper for what they bring to the table, and their purpose is to be a threat for the player. In game, these bosses will be found around every 5 days. If the player beats them, they get loads and loads of money and they can progress the story of the game. If they don't, they're meant to apply different strategies that the usual NPC don't use. For now, we have 3 boss cards. All of them are colorless boss cards, but in the future we'll have boss cards for every type of cards. We'll talk about the boss in a minute. For now, let's talk about how the costs work for the cards. The player will start with 1 unit of beer, and each turn the starting number increases until it reaches 5. After that, to be increased further, he needs the help of specific support cards, like the wheelbarrow, to increase this limit further. The absolute maximum of beer you can stack is 10. After that, it won't go further. Cards costs are balanced with specific mechanics in mind. Cards that cost 1 to 3 are cheaper cards that can easily be placed, even 2 on them in a turn, with little to no setup. They help round out your deck, covering some holes, tanking hits, or helping you to dispatch specific threats. For example, the Wolf, which is a basic unit with 3 HP and 2 damage. It's just meant to help out your deck with defense or offense. The Beaver is meant to be an annoying card for the opponent, blocking part of his beer from flowing, lowering the amount he can consume in his turn. The aforementioned Wheelbarrow is instead strictly a supporting card, increasing your beer count as long as it is alive. Cards that cost 4 to 5 are generally stronger cards that bring more value to the table, and are meant to be the most basic form of damage dealing, or very strong support options. For example, the Knight, a strong tank with a higher damage output against magical cards, or the Bishop, which can attack twice in the same turn. Cards that cost 6 are a lot stronger in comparison, needing at least some form of setup to be played. For example, the Hydra can come back from the dead, stronger every time, until it ultimately dies after his 3rd life. Or the Queen, that can attack in 3 directions at once. Cards that cost 7 and above are very strong cards, which require elaborate setups or very passive plays from your opponents to be placed down. They have very high stats and powerful abilities, making them a serious threat to deal with. For example, the Jotun, which besides having a very high HP pool of 6 and a very useful Trin attack, when below half health, it switches into his rampage mode, doubling his attack. Now, I would be insane enough to go over each and every card of the game and tell you what it does, but we'll probably be here for a while, since they are already 50 in the demo. So we put in the game an info section you can access by right clicking on the desired card, to see how they work and helping you choose which card you prefer. Well, last thing last, we need to find a way to differentiate the card in the game, like maybe some special attacks or abilities.
What is this game even about, bro?
I mean, I guess giving the card abilities would be a really simple and original choice that would be able to elevate the gameplay experience to another level of quality.
Definitely. But could you explain how you would fit that in?
So, we decided to add card abilities into our game. At the moment, a card can have up to 2 abilities, and those abilities affect how they act in battle. Abilities can be rare, epic or legendary. Rare abilities are good abilities. They may sometimes be not even that strong or game changing, but are objectively better than having none. For example, the aforementioned Knight's ability Magic Slayer, or abilities like Winged or Quick Feet, that allow the card to move positions. Epic abilities are really good abilities that are really impactful in battle. For example, the Shielder's ability Shield, that allows him to tank freely the first hit that comes in his way. Or for example, the Elephant's ability Intimidate, that lowers by 1 the attack stat of any card that lies in the slot in front of him. Finally, legendary abilities are either exceptionally good abilities or just really tied into a specific card. For example, the ability Regrowth, that allows the Hydra to come back to life twice. It's both really strong and it's really tied into the card concept and design. Also, legendary abilities can also be abilities that are exclusive to boss cards. Now, I'll quickly go over what the boss are and what they do, because as the player can't actually use them in battle, you don't have a way right now to see what they do during the battle before the fight. And so you won't need to trial and error your way through a boss, at least for this demo. Now, the first boss is called the Distillery. It's a 1-cost card with 7 HP and 0 attack. What this card does is, when it's placed down, 2 things will happen. First, his signature ability will make it so the opponent already starts the next turn with 5 beer in his pint, while also having the ability mid-production, which is the same ability of the wheelbarrow, which will give him another point. So for this battle, the concept was to make your opponent unfairly strong against you in the very first phases of the game. The second boss is the Mother Possum. Mother Possum costs 3 beer, it has 6 health and 3 attack. One of his abilities is Quick Feet, that allows her to change position on the board at the end of every turn. However, her signature ability allows her to summon an opossum on the empty slot she left behind. This boss fight is meant to swarm the opponent's fielding cards, so the player will have a hard time trying to cover everything. And finally, we have the Falcon. The Falcon is a 4-cost card with 5 health and 2 damage. It has the ability Winged, which makes it able to travel in any free slot it wants to at the start of the turn, and the ability Dive Bomb, which will stun every card he attacks for a turn. Now, when Dive Bomb is activated, it will deal double damage to the target card, and it will stun it for a turn. The ability is single use, however it can be recharged in case of a direct attack against the player. Now, this boss fight was just meant to be slightly annoying. Instead, because of how weirdly the AI uses the ability Winged, what happens is more something like... And for the abilities, that's basically it. Like I said before, you can check out all of their effects in the game. Last thing last, we'll go over some features of the main menu.
Now, you can't just play in silence. I mean, you could, but that's just sad. So, we added some background music to play while you gamble. But of course, we can't just steal it, unless... No, we can't do that. So I cooked up a few tracks. There are 3 battle themes with 3 boss remixes. These will play when the boss card is placed on field. In the quick menu, unless you choose to play against the boss hand, you will be able to pick the song you'd like to play. And yes, you can also choose the boss themes. These songs fit the theme of the game because they are jazzy, and it's what you would most likely hear in one of these pubs. I hope you will like them.
Okay, now, we've been yapping about this game for some time now, so it's time for the final act of this video. Before concluding, I'd like to show you all a compilation of me and Badios playing the game, to show you actual gameplay footage. Enjoy!
Try of course. With this insane addict.
The same way it does for me, it can sidechain for you.
And I
no.
can do this.
Yes, you can.
Now, do you hear me? Yo, bro, what the hell?
Again, dog, what the fuck? Do you keep them?
Yo, bro, do you see?
How do you find these? How do you find these?
They are real.
Nah. Dog, you sound like you just saw a fucking UFO, man. When
How do I actually?
now
How do?
this time, hold on.
I mean, it's a little fucked up,
I don't know what you expect.
but it works.
It worked. You just have a phantom card.
Yes, I have a phantom car.
Oh my god, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on.
I have phantom. No, man, what the hell?
You lost. You lost.
I just lost. Good day.
Good day, sir. That card is only good like at the last 3 turns or something.
Yep, I have a really bad feeling, man. Well,
Good day, sir.
it's not going well. I need a little miracle. Shit, that no, yup, yeah, no, nope.
Good day, sir. He's
That's-
gonna die, guaranteed. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is gonna die. He is gonna die, fucking guarantee.
I do love your phantom card, though.
I do love the phantom pain.
And so that's it. This is our work on the game so far. With this video and our first demo, our goal was to first verify the quality and enjoyability of our card game before starting the work on the actual game. Going forward, the idea is to have a roguelike game, with a large variety of endings the player can get by interacting with the map and the various NPCs. Each run unlocking new cards for the player, letting you progress each time further into the game, until you raise the necessary amount of money in the right amount of time. Honestly, while I'm not a big card game enthusiast, I'm having a blast with what we got so far, and I found myself unironically playing it instead of other actual video games, so I really hope you guys will enjoy it as well. So as I said, feel free to download the demo in the description and give us your feedback in the comments. We'd love to hear what you think of it. Also remember to like and subscribe to help us reach more people. And with that, this video is over, and so is the show. Good night everybody.